I have been putting vignettes in between chapters, and so this vignette goes between Chapter 4 and Chapter 5. This vignette is called Exposition Files, and it helps me to establish the world for the non-child characters within it. Vignette Exposition Files. Former Special Agent Morgana Chase was ready for a break in the case. They'd been following this lead for months and had weaved across state lines, gone out of the country a few times, gotten cold, and then heated up again. She was sure that they were onto something and had staked their careers on it more than a few times. Her partner, Donovan Kelly, was as always skeptical, but not skeptical enough that he was unwilling to risk his career chasing her phantoms. He was a good man, but he hadn't lost a family member to them. He would never understand. The mist hung thick over the cheap hotel that the subjects were in. A man and a little girl that must hold the answers to everything. Kelly refused to stipulate that it was the girl that was causing all this, that the trouble that followed her around like a seagull that you had fed. Chase congratulated herself on a complex and particularly apt metaphor as Kelly stepped from the car. He waved his hand to disperse the smoke from the cheap cigarettes that Chase had been patronizing since she saw them in a movie. "Those things will kill you." She smiled grimly. "Not if I'm right. They will get us long before the cigarettes do." Kelly grimaced in that scientist way he had. He had been a laboratory tech before he was a field agent. It was a weird background, but it felt right. He was just quirky enough to be a good partner, and Chase appreciated his skepticism, to a point. "Is that your they down there? A newspaper man and his little girl?" Chase knew that he was testing her. He always tried to get her thinking analytically, especially in the mornings. He called it his Socratic breakfast. "You may be a skeptic, but I'm a believer. If that's all they are, where's the mom, huh? Why do you think the weird things happen around them? You've seen the spotty pictures, the grainy videos with the sound cutting in and out. You saw that one with the rain of frogs that melted the next morning, and those tiny wings had to come from somewhere." She shivered in the morning chill and took a deep drag from her cheap cigarette. "And the teddy bears." Kelly shuddered despite himself. "That was not the work of a sane person." "No, it wasn't. And that's why you're here with me and not some stuffy office somewhere doing real federal work." She made the air quotes contemptuously. Kelly shook his head, clearly filled with regret. "I lost my pension chasing these crazy conspiracies of yours. My wife and kids left me. You're clearly insane and you have an addiction to weird pornography. But I just can't help but believe that." He turned and looked down at the crappy motel. "What if you're right?" There was a sharp report, and Kelly collapsed, clearly dead before he hit the ground, blood pooling from the large exit wound through the back of his head. Chase reached desperately for her sidearm, only to realize she turned it in with her badge. She was unarmed and alone. It was the father. He held a small pistol with far too much confidence. "Is this about the dead hookers?" Chase asked. He cocked his head at her, despite the fact that he just killed her partner. She could only see him as a confused puppy in that moment. "No," he said, seemingly confused. She thought a moment of all the crimes they'd committed or covered up. "The rapes we covered up for Senator? No. This can't be about the dog we killed. The kid the dog belonged to? Jesus Christ, what? Poisoning that? No. But thank you." The man seemed a little more sure now, comfortable, resolved. It was former Special Agent Morgana Chase's turn to be confused. "Why are you thanking me?" The man smiled, sadly it seemed, as he raised the pistol. "You just made this a whole lot easier." And that's Exposition Files.